What's up, guys? My name is Marcos, and I am one of the hosts here at the Scoop Troop, and welcome to my review of the first episode of House of the Dragon. I was lucky enough to attend an early premiere of the first episode here in Santa Fe, New Mexico, where George R. R. Martin owns his own personal theater. Unfortunately, the rest of the guys weren't able to join me, but trust me, they're going to be on all future content for House of the Dragon. Anyways, getting into it, honestly, I loved the episode. So coming into it after Game of Thrones, I was hyped. I mean, I saw that starting scene where they have the HBO little static TV entrance, and man, my eyes literally got watery. It was just like seeing an old friend come into town. It was great to be back watching more Game of Thrones, more of this world. I know the last seasons of Game of Thrones weren't accepted by everybody. Even some of my own friends and family disagree with some of my points or just didn't really enjoy the last seasons. Me personally, I have my own gripes we could get into at another time. But overall, I've just always loved the show. It's had such an edge. It's had such impact and such boldness. And I was hoping that that would transfer over into House of the Dragon. So in our early predictions video, I was hoping that this show would bring it, that it would open up with a banger episode that was bold, that had that impact and that edge of Game of Thrones, and honestly, I think they nailed it. This opening episode has a difficult task. I mean, it has to introduce you to new characters, it has to reintroduce the setting, and also set the tone of this time. It had a slightly different tone than Game of Thrones, I felt at least. It had a much more sad tone to it, and I really liked the whole way that they built up the Targaryen family and the conflict that it introduced. It did a really good job at bringing in these new characters such as Daemon, Rhaenyra, the King, and making you like and feel for them from the beginning. For some, and for others, I mean, I'm already pretty sure that people are going to start hating people just off this first episode. I'm not going to get into any spoilers in this review, but I did want to talk about some specifics such as like the cinematography, the soundtrack. I'll touch a little bit on some of the story beats, and yeah, just kind of give a general picture of what I'm feeling going into this first episode. One of the first things I want to mention is the costumes. I mean, in all the promo material, we see Princess Rhaenyra wearing kind of like that red and gold Iron Man looking dress, and I thought that dress was sick. I even told my wife, like, I think this dress should be nominated for an award. The costume is just awesome for Rhaenyra, and also some of the armor that we see throughout the show, whether it be for Daemon like we've seen in some of the promo images, or also some of the other armor for lesser known characters. I just think all of the designs are so awesome. Even the armor for the Kingsguard just looks super sick, like something out of Dark Souls. And yeah, I loved the costumes in the show, and I'm really curious to see where they go now. Won't talk about where they're going with it, but I want to see how those costumes kind of reflect on characters and kind of how they're changing throughout the season and seasons that are to come. Besides the costumes in the show, the overall production seemed to be very, very high end. I mean, it's comparable to the last seasons of Game of Thrones, with the CGI, with the cinematography. Just the grand shots that they show in this episode are just a spectacle to see. And man, I mean, if you've gone and seen the behind the scenes of the show, you can see how much effort they put into building these sets. I mean, they legit built the throne room, they built the throne, and all of that effort that they put in really paid off. And I'm so happy to see how well it came on this first episode. And man, we're in for a treat for the rest of them for sure, especially on the production end. As far as the soundtrack in the episode, honestly, I was expecting a little more originality with it. A lot of the themes from the Game of Thrones show are played throughout it, such as the main opening theme and a little bit of Daenerys' theme. It was cool, and I think it was very nostalgic to hear again, which was, I think, acceptable for the first episode. But I'm hoping in these next episodes we get to see a little more originality and really see them bring it with some new songs. As far as the characters, I really thought that the actors did a great job in portraying them. I think from Daemon to King Viserys all the way to Rhaenyra, you can really get a feel of the character traits that each one of them has and how that's going to play into the overall narrative, whether it be the kind of more soft side of King Viserys or that ambitious edge of Daemon. I really felt through the first episode that I already got to know kind of some of the motivations and some of the things that are driving these characters. As far as the story, without getting into anything specific, I think the first episode did a really good job at hooking me and at making me uncomfortable. I think that Game of Thrones had a lot of moments, whether it be the Red Wedding or what happened to Ned, and they were very moving, they were very emotional, and they were hard to watch. I mean, this episode, I think one particular scene was especially hard to watch, and I think was very bold and something I haven't seen done on television. So honestly, I'm really excited to see how people react to that scene in particular. I'm hoping to even record some of my friends' reactions, the other hosts on the podcast, and kind of just see how they react to those moments. Overall, I think it was a great episode. I mean, what stood out to me the most, the action was super awesome. Whoever was working on the cinematography, I think they did a great job at just making it gritty, making it dark, and making it tense. I loved one of the particular action moments that are inside of this episode. I think it had the boldness of Game of Thrones, some of those moments where things I had never, but I don't believe I've seen done the way they were on television. They were hard to watch. They were intense. The crowd that I watched it with, you could just feel the tension in the room in that moment. And it was really cool to witness. And I think the cinematography was awesome, comparable to the last seasons of Game of Thrones. I was slightly disappointed, but I did enjoy the music. It was familiar, and the nostalgia worked for me in this first episode. I'm just hoping that in the new episodes to come, we get a little more originality on the songs and some of the themes that we could relate to each of the characters. But I'm really liking these characters so far. Daemon is my favorite going into the show. I had a feeling he was going to be my favorite dude, and after this first episode, I can confirm that that's still standing true. So I know not a ton of people have seen this episode unless you attended one of the premieres, and there's still a review embargo on it, I believe, so we can't go into any spoilers. But here on the channel, we're going to be covering all things House of Dragon, not just myself, but also Jacob and David, the other hosts here at the Scoop Troop. Every week, we're going to be giving our predictions on the episodes to come, and then after every episode, we're going to be going live, discussing it, and reviewing it with you guys post-show. So feel free to come, join us in the discussion. We really have been enjoying all the comments that we've been getting and just discussing this world with you guys. So please like, comment, or subscribe. Any support, even just a view, means a lot to us right now. But we want to continue to discuss with you guys. So let me know if you're looking forward to it, if you're not looking forward to it, if you have any predictions, any of that, I would love to hear. And the rest of the guys here would also love to hear. As of right now, I'm the only one that has seen it because I went to that early screening. But the rest of the guys are going to be seeing it here in a couple of days. So after that, I mean, it's just going to be a roller coaster talking about this show for the next 10 weeks. So thank you guys for coming to the video, and we'll talk more House of the Dragon later. See ya.